The combat arena stank of blood and broken pride. Chen stood in the center of the circular pit, her knuckles split and bleeding, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Around her, 7 Korthan warriors lay unconscious or groaning in pain. The crowd of alien spectators had gone completely silent. She wiped the blood from her lip and grinned up at the observation deck, where her former mentor watched with unreadable crimson eyes. "Is that all you've got, Warlord Kravik?" Maya shouted, her voice echoing off the metal walls. "I thought you said this batch was supposed to be your best fighters." The towering Korthan warlord leaned forward, his 4 arms crossed over his armored chest. His reputation had spread across 12 star systems. Planets surrendered at the mere mention of his name. Entire fleets turned and fled when his warships appeared on their sensors. And Chen, a human from Earth, had been his apprentice for 5 brutal years. "You have become arrogant, little human," Kravik rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "Perhaps I trained you too well." Maya laughed, the sound sharp and cold. "Or maybe you just got old." The crowd gasped. No one spoke to Warlord Kravik that way. No one who wanted to keep breathing. Anyway, Kravik's mandibles clicked together in what might have been amusement or fury. With him, it was always hard to tell. "Come to my chambers. We need to talk." 20 minutes later, Maya sat across from her mentor in his private quarters, nursing a glass of Vexian whiskey that could probably strip paint. The alcohol burned all the way down, but she'd learned to hide her discomfort years ago. "You are leaving," Kravik said. It wasn't a question. Maya met his gaze without flinching. "Tomorrow morning, I could stop you. You could try." She took another sip of the whiskey. "But you won't." Kravik's 4 eyes studied her with an intensity that would have terrified her 5 years ago. Now, she simply waited. She'd learned patience from him, among other things. Patience, strategy, ruthlessness, and the cold calculation required to command armies across the stars. "You came to me a broken child," Kravik said slowly. "Your colony destroyed. Your family was killed in the Rixian invasion. You begged me to teach you how to fight. And you did." Maya's voice was steady, but her hand tightened around the glass. "You taught me everything." "No," Kravik corrected. "I taught you what you needed to survive, what you needed to become strong. But revenge..." He leaned back in his throne-like chair. "Revenge, you already understood perfectly. That I could not teach you." Maya stood, setting down her glass with deliberate care. "The Rixian Dominion thinks they're untouchable. They think humans are weak, primitive, barely worth conquering. They raided my home like we were nothing but resources to be harvested. And now you will show them otherwise." Kravik's mandibles spread wide in what passed for a Korthan smile. "You will burn their empire to ash. Every last planet." Maya's voice carried a promise that made the temperature in the room seem to drop. "They wanted to see what humans could become when pushed. They're going to find out." Kravik stood, towering over her by nearly 3 feet. His 4 massive arms reached out, and for a moment, Maya thought he might try to stop her after all. Instead, he placed 1 clawed hand on each of her shoulders. "Then go, Chen. Show the galaxy what my greatest student has become. Show them why even I, Warlord Kravik the Merciless, am proud to have trained you." The next morning, Maya's ship lifted off from Kravik's fortress world. The vessel was a gift from her mentor, a sleek warship that combined Korthan military engineering with modifications she designed herself. She'd named it the Ember, because that's what she was. The last burning ember of her destroyed colony, about to become an inferno. Her first stop was a fringe station, a notorious hub for mercenaries, criminals, and anyone trying to stay off the grid. Maya walked through crowded corridors with purposeful strides, ignoring the stares her human appearance attracted. Humans were rare this far from Earth's protected space. She found exactly who she was looking for in a bar that smelled of alien sweat and cheap liquor. "Captain Vextorian," Maya said, sliding into the seat across from the grizzled Talaxian pilot. "I heard you're the best smuggler in the sector." Vex looked up from his drink, his 3 eyes widening slightly. "And I heard that Warlord Kravik finally released his pet human into the wild. Didn't think the rumors were true." They're not rumors. Maya pushed a data chip across the table. That's the location of a Rixian supply depot. Lightly guarded, full of weapons and fuel. We hit it in 3 days. Vex picked up the chip, turning it over in his weathered fingers. What makes you think I want to get involved in whatever suicide mission you're planning? Maya smiled, and there was nothing warm in it. Because the Rixians destroyed your home world 15 years ago. Because you've been running jobs in the shadows ever since, never quite brave enough to strike back. And because I'm offering you a chance to hurt them in ways they'll actually feel. Vex stared at her for a long moment. Then he downed his drink in one gulp and stood. When do we leave? Over the next month, Maya assembled her crew. Each one had a story. Each one had a reason to hate the Rixian Dominion. There was Kira Dax, a weapons specialist whose entire family had been taken as slaves. She could build a plasma bomb out of spare parts and sheer spite. There was Thorn, a massive Urgoth warrior who'd been dishonorably discharged from his people's military for refusing to ally with the Rixians. He didn't talk much, but his loyalty was absolute once given. There was Z, a young hacker who'd escaped a Rixian labor camp with nothing but her quick mind and quicker fingers. She could slice through security systems like they were made of tissue paper. And there was Maya, binding them together with a vision of vengeance that burned brighter than any star. Their first raid went perfectly. They hit the supply depot hard and fast, overwhelming the surprise guards before they could send a distress signal. Maya moved through a facility like Kravik had taught her, efficient and deadly. She'd learned to use every weapon the galaxy had to offer, but her favorite was still the plasma blade Kravik had given her on her graduation day. The Rixian commander tried to surrender when he saw half his forces already dead or dying. Maya shot him anyway. No prisoners, she told her crew as they loaded the stolen supplies onto the Ember. The Rixians don't take prisoners. Neither do we. Word of the raid spread quickly. Within days, the Rixian Dominion knew someone was targeting their assets. Within weeks, they'd figured out it was a human leading the attacks. They laughed. The Galactic Senate received a transmission from the Rixian High Command, mocking the audacity of a single human thinking she could challenge their empire. They offered a reward for her capture. A small one. After all, how much trouble could one human possibly cause? Maya saw the bounty notice and smiled. Let them laugh, she told her crew as they planned their next strike. Laughter turned to screaming surprisingly fast. The second target was a Rixian outpost on the edge of their territory. This time, the garrison was expecting trouble. They'd tripled their guards and upgraded their defenses. Maya hit them anyway. She used the tactics Kravik had drilled into her for 5 years. Misdirection, psychological warfare, striking where the enemy felt safest. The outpost had impressive shields designed to stop frontal assaults. So Maya didn't attack from front. She had Z hack into the station's waste disposal system and pump nerve gas through the ventilation. By the time her crew boarded, half the Rixians were already unconscious. The other half died fighting. But this time, Maya made sure one survived. A young officer, barely out of training. She dragged him to the communications array and forced him to send a message to Rixian High Command. Tell them, Maya said, her blade pressed against his throat, that Chen is coming. Tell them that Warlord Kravik himself has trained a human they thought was too weak to matter. Tell them that I will not stop until every Rixian world burns. The officer stammered out the message, his voice shaking with terror. When he finished, Maya knocked him unconscious and left him alive. She wanted him to deliver the message in person. She wanted the Rixian leadership to see the fear in his eyes when he described what had happened. She wanted them to understand that this was just the beginning. Back on the Ember, Kira was checking the weapons inventory when Maya entered the armory. The Talaxian woman looked up, a grin spreading across her scarred face. You know the whole galaxy is going to be talking about this by morning, right? Kira said, a human, trained by Kravik, taking on the Rixian Dominion alone? It's insane. Good, Maya replied, selecting a new plasma rifle from a rack. Let them talk. Fear spreads faster than ships travel. Vex appeared in the doorway, his 3 eyes bright with something that might have been excitement or terror. We've got a problem. 3 Rixian cruisers just dropped out of hyperspace. They're hunting for us. Maya checked her weapons with practiced efficiency. Then let's give them something to find. The Rixian cruisers were massive vessels, each one capable of reducing a planet's surface to molten glass. Maya's ship was a fraction of their size. "This is a terrible plan," Vex muttered, his hands flying over the navigation controls. "We should run. We should absolutely run. Where's the fun in that?" Maya strapped herself into the captain's chair, her eyes scanning the tactical display. "Z, are we ready?" The young hacker's fingers danced across her console. "The virus is loaded and waiting. Just get me within transmission range." "Thorn, weapons hot," Maya ordered. The Urgoth warrior grunted acknowledgement, his massive hands hovering over the firing controls. "They're hailing us," Kira reported, "demanding our surrender." Maya leaned forward. "Open a channel." The face that appeared on the view screen was pure Rixian arrogance. Commander Vol, judging by his elaborate insignia, his scaled features twisted into a sneer when he saw a human in the captain's chair. "So, the rumors are true," Vol said, his voice dripping with contempt. "A human playing at being a warlord. Surrender now, and I promise your death will be quick." Maya smiled. "I have a better idea. How about you surrender to me?" Vol's laugh was like nails on metal. "You are outnumbered 3-1, child. Your ship is outgunned. You have no chance of victory. This is your last opportunity to face your end with dignity." "Dignity is overrated," Maya replied. "Z, now!" The transmission cut off as he launched her cyber attack. The virus ripped through the Rixian cruiser systems faster than their defenses could react. Weapon systems went offline. Shields flickered and died. Navigation controls locked up completely. The other 2 cruisers moved to assist, which was exactly what Maya had planned. "Vex, evasive pattern Delta," Maya snapped. "Thorn, target their communication arrays. I want them blind and confused." The Ember danced between the massive cruisers like a knife fighter in a crowd. Maya had learned more than just ground combat from Kravik. She'd spent hours in ship-to-ship combat simulations, learning how smaller vessels could exploit the weaknesses of larger ones. Thorn's first shot took out the lead cruiser's main antenna. The second and third shots crippled the other ship's long-range communications. Now they couldn't call for reinforcements. "They're launching fighters," Kira warned. 20 no, 30 contacts. Make that 40. "How's our power supply?" Maya asked. "Holding steady," Vex replied. "But if we take too many hits, those shields are going to fail fast." Maya watched the fighter swarm approaching on the tactical display. 40 Rixian fighters against 1 modified warship. The odds were terrible. She'd faced worse during her training with Kravik. "Z, can you target their fighter bay doors?" The hacker's eyes lit up. "If I can get into their system again, maybe, but it'll take time." "Make it fast." Maya turned to Thorn. "Proximity mines. Pattern Sigma." The Urgoth's tusked mouth spread in a savage grin. He understood immediately. His massive fingers flew over the weapon's console, deploying a field of micromines in the Ember's wake. The first wave of Rixian fighters flew straight into the trap. Explosions blossomed across the view screen like deadly flowers. 20 fighters gone in seconds. The survivors scattered, their formation broken by the unexpected tactic. "Got it," Z announced triumphantly. "Their fighter bay doors are sealed. The rest of the fighters are trapped inside." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Good. Now let's deal with the cruisers. Target their engine cores. I want them disabled, not destroyed." "Why not destroyed?" Kira asked, confused. "Because," Maya explained, "I want survivors to tell the story. I want them to go back to Rixian High Command and explain how a single human in a small ship defeated 3 cruisers and 40 fighters without breaking a sweat." The battle lasted another 20 minutes. By the end, all 3 Rixian cruisers were drifting in space, their engines crippled, their weapons offline, their pride shattered. Maya opened a channel to the disabled ships. "This is Maya Chen. Tell your leaders that I'm coming for them. Tell them that Warlord Kravik trained me well. Tell them that before I'm done, they're going to wish they'd never heard of Earth. She cut the transmission and turned to her crew. Vex, get us out of here before they manage to fix their communications. I want to be 3 systems away before reinforcements arrive. As the Ember jumped to hyperspace, leaving the crippled Rixian cruisers behind, Maya felt something she hadn't experienced in years. Hope. News of the battle spread like wildfire. Within days, the entire galaxy knew that a human trained by Warlord Kravik had defeated 3 Rixian cruisers. The story grew with each retelling, but Maya didn't mind. Fear and reputation were weapons as powerful as any plasma cannon. More importantly, other species started reaching out. Races that had been oppressed by the Rixian Dominion. Worlds that had lost loved ones to Rixian aggression. They wanted to join her cause. They wanted to fight back. Maya's crew of 5 became 50, then 500. Within months, she commanded a fleet of ships crewed by warriors from a dozen different species, all united by their hatred of the Rixian Dominion. And Maya led them with the cold precision Kravik had instilled in her. They hit Rixian supply lines, crippling their ability to project power. They liberated slave camps, turning grateful survivors into recruits. They destroyed military installations with surgical strikes that left the Rixian High Command scrambling to respond. But Maya never forgot the lessons of patience her mentor had taught her. She wasn't trying to conquer the Rixian Dominion in a week. She was dismantling it piece by piece, attack by attack, making them bleed until they had nothing left. 6 months after leaving Kravik's fortress, Maya received an unexpected transmission. The image on her view screen made her heart skip a beat. It was Kravik himself. "My student," the old warlord rumbled, his 4 eyes gleaming with something that might have been pride. "The galaxy speaks a little else, but your campaign against the Rixians. They've begun calling you the Warlord of Vengeance." Maya felt a surge of emotion she couldn't quite name. "I learned from the best." "Indeed." Kravik leaned forward. "Which is why I am offering you something I have never offered anyone before. An alliance. Combine your fleet with mine, and together we will crush the Rixian Dominion completely." For a moment, Maya was tempted. With Kravik's forces added to her own, they could end this war in months instead of years. They could make the Rixians pay for everything they'd done. But she thought about the faces of her crew, the Talaxians and Urgith and dozens of other species who joined her cause. They hadn't come to serve Warlord Kravik. They'd come to serve her. "I appreciate the offer, Mentor," Maya said carefully, "but I need to do this my way. My crew follows me because they believe in what we're fighting for. If I put them under your command, that changes." Kravik was silent for a long moment. Then his mandibles spread in that terrifying smile. "You have learned well. Leadership is not about having the most powerful weapons or the largest fleet. It is about making others believe in your vision so completely that they will follow you into the void itself." "You taught me that," Maya said quietly. "Then continue your campaign, my student. Show the galaxy what you have become. And when the Rixian Dominion finally falls, remember that you did not need my help to destroy them. You did it yourself." The transmission ended, leaving Maya alone with her thoughts. 3 months later, Maya's fleet surrounded the Rixian capital world. The planet below was the heart of their empire, home to billions of Rixians and the seat of their high command. Every military strategist in the galaxy said it was impossible to take. The orbital defenses were legendary. The planet's shields could withstand sustained bombardment from a dozen fleets. Maya had spent a year planning this assault. She'd studied every detail of the planet's defenses. She'd infiltrated spies into the capital city. She positioned assets throughout the system. And now, as her fleet dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation, she was ready to end this. "All ships battle positions," Maya ordered. Her voice carried across every ship in her fleet. "Remember, we're not here to conquer this planet. We're here to send a message. Today, the Rixian Dominion learns that humans are not prey. We are predators." The space battle that followed would be studied in military academies for generations. Maya's tactics combined everything she'd learned from Kravik with innovations born from her own unique perspective as a human. She used small ships to draw fire while larger vessels targeted weak points in the orbital defense grid. She deployed hunter-killer drones to disable shield generators. She coordinated simultaneous strikes across 12 different vectors, overwhelming the Rixian defenses through sheer complexity. It took 6 hours of brutal fighting, but eventually, the orbital defenses fell silent. Maya opened a channel to the planet below. She knew the Rixian High Command would be listening. She knew the entire galaxy would be watching this transmission. "My name is Maya Chen," she said, her voice steady and cold. 5 years ago, the Rixian Dominion destroyed my colony. They killed my family. They thought humans were too weak to matter. Today, I have proven them wrong." She paused, letting her words sink in across the listening galaxy. "I could destroy this planet right now. I could reduce your capital to ash, just like you did to my home. But I won't, because I am not you. Instead, I am giving you a choice. Withdraw from every world you have conquered. Free every slave you have taken. Pay reparations to every species you have harmed. Do this, and you may survive as a civilization." Another pause, shorter this time. "Refuse, and I will return with a fleet 10 times this size. And next time, I won't be offering terms. I'll be offering annihilation." The transmission ended. For 3 days, Maya's fleet maintained its position, weapons locked on the planet below, waiting for an answer. On the 4th day, the Rixian High Command surrendered unconditionally. The war was over. Maya stood on the observation deck of the Ember, watching as Rixian ships began evacuating conquered worlds according to the terms she dictated. Around her, her crew celebrated their impossible victory. But Maya didn't feel triumphant. She felt tired and empty in a way she hadn't expected. "You did it," Kira said, approaching with 2 glasses of Vexian whiskey. "You actually did it. You destroyed the Rixian Dominion." Maya accepted the glass, but didn't drink. "I didn't destroy them. I broke them. There's a difference. Is that what's bothering you?" The Talaxian woman studied her captain's face. "You won. Your family is avenged. Isn't that what you wanted?" Maya thought about that question for a long time. "I wanted justice. I wanted the Rixians to pay for what they did. But now that it's over, I realize that revenge doesn't bring anyone back. My family is still gone. My colony is still destroyed. Nothing I did changed that. But you saved countless others from suffering the same fate," Kira pointed out. "Dozens of worlds are free because of you. Thousands of slaves have been liberated. That has to mean something." Maya finally took a sip of the whiskey. It still burned, but somehow it tasted less bitter than it used to. Maybe it does. Maybe that's enough. A week later, Maya received one final transmission from Kravik. "The galaxy calls you the Warlord now," her mentor said, his 4 eyes gleaming with unmistakable pride. "Not the Warlord of Vengeance, just the Warlord. You have surpassed even my reputation, my student. Entire civilizations speak your name with respect and fear. How does it feel to have achieved what you set out to do?" Maya considered the question. "Honestly, it feels strange. I spent 5 years training, another year fighting, and now that it's over, I'm not sure who I am anymore. I was so focused on revenge that I never thought about what comes after." Kravik's mandibles clicked in that sound that might have been laughter. "That is the burden of leadership, Maya Chun. Victory is only the beginning. Now you must decide what kind of legacy you will build. Will you become a conqueror like me, expanding your territory and crushing your enemies? Or will you become something different, something new?" "I don't know," Maya admitted. "I never wanted to be a warlord. I just wanted justice." "And you achieved it," Kravik said. "But the galaxy does not care what you wanted. It only sees what you have become. You are the human who defeated the Rixian Dominion. You are the warrior trained by Kravik the Merciless who surpassed her master. You are the warlord. The question is, what will you do with that title?" The transmission ended, leaving Maya alone with a question that would define the rest of her life. She looked out at the stars, at the vast expanse of the galaxy stretching endlessly before her. Somewhere out there, other civilizations were suffering under tyranny. Other families were being torn apart by conquest and cruelty. Other colonists were dying while the powerful looked away. Maya thought about her crew, the warriors who'd followed her into impossible battles because they believed in her cause. She thought about the freed slaves who now had a chance at a new life. She thought about the message she'd sent to every would-be conqueror in the galaxy when she'd broken the Rixian Dominion. And slowly, Chen began to smile. She didn't know who she was supposed to be after revenge, but she was starting to figure out who she wanted to be. The galaxy had called her the Warlord. Maybe it was time to show them what that really meant. Not conquest, not endless warfare, but protection for those who couldn't protect themselves. Justice for those who'd been wronged. A galaxy where powerful empires thought twice before crushing the weak. A galaxy that remembered what happened when you push a human too far. Maya finished her whiskey and turned back toward the bridge. Her crew was waiting. The galaxy was watching. And somewhere out there, the next tyrant was making the same mistake the Rixians had made. Thinking that might made right, she would teach them otherwise. After all, she'd learned from the best. The end.